What is life like for a person that identifies themselves as LGBT or Q on the Arkansas State University campus? What does LGBTQ mean?
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, questioning or queer, or intersex. And now we're getting a better understanding of what it is like to be called queer and what's it like to claim that word. People who are over 30, queer was another word that was used in a derogatory way. People who are younger, much like you take any word that's been used to oppress people, there will be a group of people who will turn around and use it in a positive. Mm-hmm. Like people who would say, I'm a dyke, and try to say that as a negative. I'm like, that's Dr. Dyke. You know, it's not a negative to me, but for some people it still is.
There is a sexual minority group that some people have never heard of, even within the LGBTQ community. Have you ever heard of a pansexual?
As I got a little bit older, I realized, well, some people are just this way and some people are just that way, and I'm like, I don't really have any parameters like that. I'm more based on how a person is rather than what they have and what they look like.
And that is essentially what pansexual means, is that correct?
Yes.
All of these terms describe sexual orientations that differ from the societal norm of heterosexuality. What is normal? All over the world and throughout the history of mankind, the idea of what is normal has varied greatly. Even today, sexual normality varies from culture to culture. What does our community on campus know, and how do they feel about the LGBTQ community? And why do they feel that way?
My personal belief, I know that it's wrong, but in the same sense, you know, I don't feel like I can judge somebody for how they feel. You know, if that's how they feel, then, you know, do their own thing. You know?
Especially for us, children of God, you know, it teaches us to love, and we're not a judge, and even though it says in the Bible that it's not that lifestyle is not accepted, but there's plenty of other things that's not accepted in God's eyes either. So let's not forget that, and so not just focus on this one thing, because all sin is bad sin.
From what I've heard, the people that do misunderstand, it's a lot of they've never been around it. They don't know anybody who is part of the LGBT community or any allies, just because of the way that they've grown up. You know, down in the South, it's conservative, very close to itself. A lot of people don't get to experience being friends with people, and they just see it from society's, you know, stereotype of the LGBT community. They see that all the negative sides of it. You know, they think that it has something to do with AIDS, you know, has something to do with HIV, and really it's not. You know, the LGBT community, they're all real people. They're just, you know, they just like boys or like girls. I mean, just the same as, you know, a boy likes a girl. You know, it doesn't define a person. You know, sexuality does not define a person. According to militaryfriendlyschools.com, A-State has made the list of schools friendly to the armed forces for the 5th consecutive year. The A-State Jonesboro student body is relatively diverse, according to the Arkansas State University Factbook. 39.4% of students on the Jonesboro campus are male, while 60.6% are female. 6.2% of the student body are international students, while 19.6% of A-State students are listed in the Factbook as ethnic minority. It takes many experiences to shape the lives of an individual. People of a sexual minority often find experiences in their early years that shape their understanding of how some people view anyone who is not a heterosexual.
Got hit hard with what it was about when I think I was like 10 or 11 years old, and we were living in Colorado, and we were traveling in a little town in Colorado, and we were traveling through Denver, and I remember going over the summer pass or something, and there was a church. If I remember right, it was pink, but that may just be something I made up many years later. But anyway, my dad said, "Oh, that's the gay church." And I was in the back seat with my sister, and I'm, you know, because we're from a family of, you know, very devout, church-going people. And, oh, a happy church, you know. I was like, oh, what's, you know, I didn't know if it was a religion or, you know, whatever. So I'm looking at it, and I can't even really tell which building it is because there's no steeple at all. I'm like, well, what's a gay church? And my mom said, and I quote, "That's where really sick people go." So I'm thinking, okay, sick, you know. And that's when they expressed to me that it was where the men were attracted to men, the women were attracted to women. I remember very vividly, at that moment in my life, two things happened to me. The first thing was, I knew I was very sick. I was a sick individual. And the other thing happened was like, oh my God, there's other people like me out there.
See, the thing with Harrisburg is that it's so indoctrinated with religion that it's not safe to come out as gay in Harrisburg. It's just not. And, you know, people make assumptions, and people thought I was, you know, assumed I was gay my whole life. Even my parents, and you can't blame them for it, because that's the stereotype I put out there, just like we were saying. But the important part to realize is that it's about the community you're around when you decide to come out, and that's what decides when you decide to come out, is the community of people that you surround yourself with.
There are still many people in our society who believe that homosexuality is not natural, and their beliefs are usually driven by some religious foundation.
Background, I'm a Muslim, and we don't accept homosexuality. It's something forbidden. I think not just Muslims think like that, Jews and Christians. We think it's a unnatural thing.
Personally, I don't support it because for religious purposes, I guess. But at the same time, I do realize that it happens, and I don't treat people who are LGBT any differently. But I don't necessarily support it. So.
I don't have anything against those people personally, but I think that it's the reason why it was a male and a female like put on Earth. But I think that like, you know what I'm saying, we're supposed to have male and female reproduce and, you know, have a family like it's meant to be.
In some societies today, a person can be killed purely based on their sexuality. However, some are lucky enough to escape such fate.
I know of one young lady who actually has escaped a forced marriage. She was from a Middle Eastern country who she wasn't allowed to leave that country until she was married. Mm-hmm. And so she escaped that marriage and came to the United States and has ended up in Arkansas. And I'm sure if her family knew where she was or what she was doing, she would be, beheaded or killed for honor.
In today's society, what we do in our bedrooms has become the go-to taboo subject that has garnered national headlines.
And I've had outside of here some pretty nasty things said to me. But those are the people that I chum up to. I was like, okay, I get it. You hate gay people, you're scared of gay people, you're going to get to know me. And it has made a remarkable difference. That's how I changed the world. It's like, okay, fine, we're not going to sleep together. So my homosexuality really has nothing to do with you. So you're going to learn to hate me for me or love me for me, and it's been amazing. I've really had some amazing moments here.
How significant are the ill effects of homosexuality on society that people deserve to be bullied, beaten, or killed? Western society seems to be on the path of acceptance, understanding, and inclusion of the LGBTQ community.
When you say lifestyle, like I said, it connotates a decision, but even when you say something like, I don't know, the LGBT community, we're not all the same. Right. And so, and we are a community, and we're a very tight-knit community. So that's fine. But the very fact that you guys have a problem searching for those words shows me just how far we still have to go.
Yeah. We're not trying to be like, we're above you or whatever, or we're below you. We're just trying to be like, we're the same as you. Fundamentally, at a human level, we are the same as anyone else.